Boost your brain power after 65. 5 mental games that keep your mind sharp and engaged. Have you ever found yourself walking into a room and completely forgetting why you went there? Or maybe you've struggled to recall the name of a familiar face, a name that's right on the tip of your tongue. It's a common experience, especially as we journey through our 60s and beyond. Our minds, just like our bodies, require regular exercise and stimulation to stay sharp and engaged. And let's be honest, we all want to keep our minds as vibrant and active as possible, right? That's precisely why I wanted to talk about this today, because keeping your brain healthy isn't just about avoiding memory lapses, it's about maintaining your independence, enjoying richer conversations, and simply feeling more confident in your daily life. And it's not as daunting as you might think. In this video, we're going to explore 5 simple yet incredibly effective mental games that can help you boost your brain power after 65. These games aren't about complicated puzzles or hours of intense concentration. They're about finding enjoyable ways to challenge your mind and keep it working at its best. Now let's start with the first game, and it's something you can weave into your daily routine quite easily. It's called the Mental List Challenge. Think of it as a workout for your memory and recall. Here's how it works. Throughout your day, pick a category. It could be anything, from fruits that are yellow to cities I've visited, or even characters from my favorite old movie. Then, try to mentally list as many items as you can in that category. The key here is to do it without writing anything down. For example, while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, you might choose the category Things I Need to Buy Today. See how many items you can recall without looking at your list. Or as you're enjoying a cup of tea in the garden, you could think of birds I've seen in my backyard. Start with easier categories and gradually increase the difficulty. You might even want to set a timer for a minute or two, just to add a bit of friendly competition with yourself. What makes this game so effective? Well, it strengthens your working memory, which is crucial for everyday tasks like remembering appointments, following instructions, and staying focused during conversations. It also helps improve your retrieval skills so you can access information more quickly and efficiently. Plus, it's a great way to turn everyday moments into opportunities for mental stimulation. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and it adds a bit of fun to your day. Before we move on, I have a quick challenge for you. Try the Mental List Challenge right now. Pick a category and drop your list in the comments. Let's see how many unique answers we can come up with. Our second game is a classic, but with a twist. It's called Story Remix. Now, you've probably heard of telling stories, but this one involves a bit of creative reconstruction. Grab a book, a magazine, or even a newspaper article. Read a short passage, just a few paragraphs will do. Then, put it aside and try to retell the story in your own words. But here's the twist. Change something about the story. It could be the ending, the setting, or even the characters. For instance, if you've read a story about a woman who finds a lost dog, you might retell it as a story about a man who discovers a hidden treasure in his garden. Or, if the story is set in a bustling city, you could move it to a quiet countryside village. The goal is to engage your imagination and think creatively. This game is fantastic for boosting your narrative skills, enhancing your memory, and stimulating your creative thinking. It encourages you to think outside the box and find new perspectives, which is wonderful for keeping your mind flexible and adaptable. You know, as we age, we can sometimes fall into routines that don't challenge us as much as they used to. Story Remix helps break those patterns and encourages you to explore new ideas. It's a bit like taking your brain on a mini adventure. And who knows, you might even discover a hidden talent for storytelling. It's also a wonderful activity to share with grandchildren or friends. Imagine the fun you could have creating and sharing your remixed stories. Now that we've covered the Mental List Challenge and Story Remix, let's dive into our third mental game, which is all about sharpening your focus and attention to detail. This one is called Spot the Difference Enhanced. You might be familiar with the classic Spot the Difference puzzles, where you look at two similar images and try to find the subtle variations. We're going to take that concept and give it a bit of a boost. Instead of just looking at pictures, we're going to use real-life scenarios. For example, the next time you're setting the table for a meal, take a moment to really observe how you've arranged everything. Notice the placement of the plates, the silverware, the glasses, and any decorations. Then close your eyes and try to mentally picture the table setting. Now open your eyes and change one or two things. Maybe you swap the positions of two forks or move a napkin to a different spot. Challenge yourself to spot the changes you've made. You can do this with anything around your house: a bookshelf, a display of photos, even the arrangement of items on your desk. The key is to start with small changes and gradually increase the number and complexity of the alterations. This game is fantastic for improving your visual memory, enhancing your concentration, and boosting your attention to detail. It helps you become more observant of your surroundings, which can be incredibly useful in everyday life, from finding your keys to noticing important details in a conversation. Plus, it's a great way to make mundane tasks more engaging. Instead of just setting the table on autopilot, you're turning it into a mental exercise. And you might be surprised at how much you start to notice about your environment that you never paid attention to before. This game is all about training your brain to be more present and aware. If you're enjoying these brain-boosting games so far, tap that like button. It helps us reach more people who want to keep their minds sharp, and we truly appreciate your support. Our fourth mental game is a fantastic way to expand your vocabulary and improve your verbal fluency. It's called Word Association Chain. This game is simple but surprisingly effective. Start with any word. It could be something you see around you, like table, or something that comes to mind, like sunshine. Then the challenge is to come up with another word that is associated with that first word. For example, if you start with table, you might say chair. Then the next person, or you, if you're playing solo, has to come up with a word associated with chair, like wood. Continue building the chain, connecting each word to the previous one. The goal is to keep the chain going for as long as possible. You can make it even more challenging by setting a time limit for each word, or by trying to connect words that are seemingly unrelated. This game is wonderful for stimulating your language centers, enhancing your creativity, and improving your ability to think quickly and make connections. It helps you expand your vocabulary and find new ways to express yourself. It's also a great way to spark interesting conversations. You might be surprised at the unexpected directions your word association chains take you, and who knows, you might even learn something new along the way. This game is all about exploring the power of words and the connections between them. Now that we've covered Spot the Difference Enhanced and Word Association Chain, let's move on to our fifth and final game. By the way, do you have a favorite memory that always makes you smile? Maybe a childhood adventure or a special family moment? Take a second to share it in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. So, we've explored 4 engaging mental games so far. Now, for our fifth and final mental workout, we have the Memory Lane Journey. This game is all about taking a trip down memory lane, but with a specific purpose. Each day, choose a different period or event from your past. It could be a childhood vacation, a memorable birthday, or even a specific year. Then, spend some time recalling as many details as you can about that particular memory. Try to remember the sights, the sounds, the smells, the emotions, and the people involved. The more vivid and detailed your recollection, the better. You might even want to look at old photos or listen to music from that time to help jog your memory. This game is excellent for strengthening your long-term memory, enhancing your autobiographical recall, and reconnecting with cherished moments from your past. It helps you keep your personal history alive and vibrant, which can be incredibly comforting and enriching. It's also a wonderful way to spark conversations with family and friends. Share your memories with them and encourage them to share theirs. You might be surprised at the details they remember that you've forgotten, and vice versa. This game is all about celebrating your life story and keeping your memories sharp and accessible. So there you have it, 5 simple yet powerful mental games to boost your brain power after 65. The Mental List Challenge, Story Remix, Spot the Difference, Enhanced, Word Association Chain, and the Memory Lane Journey. Remember, the key to keeping your mind sharp and engaged is to make these games a regular part of your routine. Even just a few minutes of mental exercise each day can make a significant difference in your cognitive health and overall well-being. These games aren't about winning or losing, they're about challenging yourself, stimulating your mind, and having fun in the process. Think of them as a way to keep your brain active, flexible, and ready for anything. And who knows, you might even discover a hidden talent or a new passion along the way. Remember, small changes can make a big difference in your cognitive health and happiness. We encourage you to try these games and find the ones that resonate with you the most. Share your experiences and any other brain-boosting tips you have in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on new videos as we release them. Still looking for more info? Check out our other interesting videos. Until next time, stay healthy and keep drawing inspiration from us here at Hand Drawn Health.